But let's go back to the Hurricanes, who are sitting second on the ladder at the moment. Something that Clark Laidlaw mentioned, he said this team is going so well for a side with only a couple of All Blacks. How many All Blacks does this side end up having in 5 or 6 weeks' time, Mills?
Well, I think this is one of this guy's in contention. Numia has been, played very well. And when you're talking about All Blacks, you tend to look at the teams that are at the top of the table, and they're 1 and 2, just in behind the Blues, the points and differential. But I like the way they've gone about their business. Yeah, they've been, every now and then they've been a little bit. I like the variation that they've got also off line-outs, some of the key skill aspects, and their loose forwards have been outstanding. I think they've been the standout sort of as a complete. And when I say complete, that's having guys out as well. I mean, Brad Shields wasn't there in the weekend. Karefi wasn't there. They've got competition within the ranks, but they've also got guys like Yossi and Peter Lakai that are really, really starting to step up.
I think injuries have opened up some doors for them in certain positions, particularly at halfback. If Cam Roigard gets injured, he probably would have been in the All Black frame. TJ Perenara has certainly come in and been really, really good. I think the competition...
Does he start?
It doesn't matter. He's in the squad. That's what we're talking about here. I think he's part of the squad. But the interesting one for me is the competition we're now getting in the front row. Xavier Numia was outstanding, but you've got Tamaiti Williams who returns. You've got Ethan de Groot who's playing really, really well. Ofa Tuangafasi made a bit of a statement in Christchurch about how dominant he can be, and we know he can play both sides, as can Tamaiti. George Bauer has been in great form. So you start looking around. Obviously, Tyrell Lomax hasn't been cited. So I think the competition, particularly at loose head prop, means that it's going to be really challenging. I know it's a lot for you to.
You
confused again. Confused again because I'm talking about
props, but there was a point of difference, I would say, last night in the Blues. That Crusader scrum was strong, really, and they brought 2 All Blacks on, Mills. Yeah. They're taking 5, and there's probably 8 or 9 that are putting their hand up, right?
But I think that our props are really strong, right? They are. There's a lot there, and we're perhaps a little bit low in terms of stock a couple of years ago. The big talking point would be the locks. And Walker Leawede, for me, JK, we've had to talk about it. He's starting to step up too.
Do you think he's doing enough? Because that's the one spot. I agree that I look around and go, we're looking for that 4th lock. Yeah. Do you think Walker Leawede is doing enough?
There's aspects in. I mean, the Blues game, he didn't have a very good game there in terms of the ball receipt that he had. But I think against the Chiefs, and what he sort of went back to, he obviously learnt from that, the hard sort of running. We're probably a little bit, I suppose, thin in terms of our locking stock. Does he step?
I'd go for a combination, Mills.
Oh, you love your combination.
I'd go for a combination with the Blues.
But the Hurricanes, let's talk about the Hurricanes then. I mean, given what they just did, they've gone to Hamilton and beat the Chiefs. I mean, are they now... How tough are they going to be? Given all that chemistry you've got, you say they've only got a couple of All Blacks, but it just seems to me at the moment...
I think...
The way that they're playing, they seem so well connected. They're going to be tough to roll.
I think that I don't take the result too much the other day because I think the Chiefs are good. I think the Hurricanes are good. I think the Blues are good. Yeah. Right? I think it's going to come down to moments. I think teams that are in form, I love the way the Hurricanes are playing. I think they're playing the style that suits them and they look really, really excited. When you're playing well and you're at the top of the table, you should be promoting players, right? And so I think the players you mentioned, that Yossi, Lakai, I think it'd be fantastic for them to play. I think we're still missing a lock. Yeah. Right? I still think we're missing a lot. I think Patrick's been outstanding. We know Scott's going to be there and probably captain.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
The interesting part for me, and it's probably, and you guys have been in the coaching space before, it's now the lead up. Is it now your best teams, especially when you're looking at the Blues, the Hurricanes, the Brumbies, the top 4, right? Are they sort of almost citing, how is this going to look 5 weeks in a row? We've got to get our best team 5 weeks in a row. The other teams down the bottom, they know they've got to win to make places, right? But I think momentum going into the finals is crucial, and I think that's where the Hurricanes and possibly the Chiefs have got it right. They've sort of rotated purposely. They've got a really good depth, and then now they're starting to wrap things up because they have rested key players. I think now's the time, and it'll be interesting on Wednesday when they do name their sides.
What do the Chiefs do?
Whether they start naming their best possible teams, because they've got it locked in now.
What do the
Chiefs do in this weekend, given the fact they're pretty much fourth? Do they rest
can't
players
change,
in preparation? And if they're looking at their spot now, they're going to play the Reds, right?
Yeah.
They're at home playing the Reds. I think that's actually an interesting matchup for them. the Reds have had some success and played well against the Chiefs in recent times, and particularly their loose forward trio is really good for the Reds. So what do you do? How do you plan, or do you want to build momentum? And I know at half-time they obviously got the right act from Clayton McMillan because the second half they were a different team. And I think they were very unfortunate not to be in a position to win that game because I don't think it finished the way I would like to have seen that game finish. But I think the Chiefs, to your point, JK, are not far away in terms of that conversation, in terms of they've got, it seems, all of the pieces of the puzzle. Really nice to see Sone Tokiaho as well really take a step up in a big game. Nice to see that, needed to see that from him. Carried really strongly. I think he made a big impact.
Well, a lot of All Blacks made statement performances over the weekend too, didn't they? Let me remind you, 3 weeks ago you all picked who was in your loose forward mix for the All Blacks, and none of you had Ethan Blackadder. He played 80 minutes on Saturday night, JK. Is he now back in that All Blacks?
Look, if Ethan Blackadder can stay fit, like he was amazing. We interviewed him after the game last night and he didn't even look tired. He made 22 tackles. He was outstanding. We just need to keep him on the field. So if he can play, right, he's possibly only got 1 more week left. If he can stay fit and play again next week, then he comes straight back into contention. I've got no issues with that. My problem was, you know, and this is sad for him, he's not spending enough time out there. I just want to go back to your statement, Mills, because I don't know if actually, you know, form running into this is actually as important as rest now. Stephen Perofeta, I don't want to keep talking about the Blues all the time, people, but I'm going to. Stephen Perofeta had 7 weeks off and he was outstanding. You know, Cody Taylor had a lot of time off, and look at the form he's in. So I think, Mills, you're right, we might have 4 weeks left, but they might rest someone next week because they come straight back into it, and that freshness is actually better than actually trying to find form.
This was the perfect time for Ethan Blackadder to have a strong game. They play Moana Pacifica next week. Now, if he plays really strongly in that game, and his expectations are he should play, he needs to play another 80 minutes. And if they don't make the playoffs, it's now in the selectors' hands to decide whether or not that's enough. And the guys who are coaching the All Blacks know him well enough. And it's up to them to go, I am convinced that he's at the level he needs to be, or he'll play more rugby. But what it has done, it's certainly made the conversation more difficult on the back of that one performance. But I'll say this, though.
He's in because he covers 3 positions.
No, but he did not come up against probably the form open side flanker in the competition in Dalton Papali'i, one of the form players. I think the Blues desperately missed Dalton in this game. His defence and his work around the breakdown, the physicality he's brought this season, he's stepped it up a level. He's about 4 or 5 kgs heavier, he told me, in terms of size, and he has had an impact on the performances of this loose forward trio, the balance that they've had. Now, Adrian Chote's a good player. He's not Dalton Papali'i. And so I think for Ethan Blackadder, it would have been nice to have had this little matchup. Just to have seen it, the Blues missed Dalton. They'll look forward to having him back. And I think all of a sudden the conversations, I know you're shaking your head, but I look at it and go, are you going with a guy who's been performing week in, week out like a Peter Lakai or a Dalton Papali'i or a Ardie Savea? Are you telling me that Sam Cane is going to miss out to Ethan Blackadder in the 7 jersey? Is he the best number 6? Is he the best number 8?
Yes.
That's your position. I'm not convinced on that just yet, on the back of one game.
Like, for me, the reason is, if Sam hasn't re-signed, Sam possibly would be good enough, but Razor has to look to the future and go, I need to get... Because who's going to miss out? Lakai?
Why does he have to look to the future now? The World Cup's 3 years away.
Because I think you've got to do that now.
Right now, and England's coming, and you've got guys fit and available.
Because Sam, as much as I'd love to see him get his 100 games, like, he's not going to be here. So you're better off having... If Sam's not going to play, you're better off having someone like Lakai or a younger guy sitting on the bench, travelling to South Africa, doing all that, getting used to that, having a game, you know. Like, I would love for Sam to play. But there's another thing too. The past coaching staff always... picked All Blacks when they were injured and put them on the side. I don't know what Razor's philosophy is. Right?
He's got to be consistent too. I mean, he has had a massive game like Ethan Blackadder, but in terms of he's only had to think about one thing, and that's just go out there, smash bodies. And if he had to play consistently, he's got to get up. And the reason why he's had to do that is he's got players around him, like the Cody Taylors, that have sort of taken on that burden. Okay, I'm going to lead the team around, you know. And he's playing some exceptional rugby as Cody Taylor. But you've got to back it up. You can't just have 1 week. And this is the whole thing about the All Blacks. When you get to the All Blacks, consistency, you know, you can't drop that off. So he's got to back it up for another game. Yes, first starting point, he came back, he's healthy, Ethan Blackadder, he was fantastic.
Are you picking him?
at this stage, I have to agree with Jeff. I think Dalton has done an amazing job so far. But I think Blackadder needs more game. He needs more game, and the makeup of the squad will depend on sort of whether he gets that other loose forward.
I don't think that's the comparison, Mills. I'm saying it's Dalton and.
You're saying both of them.
Right, I'm saying Dalton's in.
You're picking 39 again or something.
No, but what I'm saying...
Because you can't pick everyone.
OK,
but what about Larkeye? What about Larkeye?
Exactly.
It's
It's actually Sam Cane, the discussion, people, and whether you take Sam Cane or a young person. So you take Blackadder, who can cover 6, 7 and 8. You take Ardy, you take Sam and Dalton.
Sammy Penny-Finau's obviously there.
Yeah.
Jacobson.
Yeah.
I want to go back to your mention here, Cody Taylor. I want to throw Cody Taylor in the mix for the All Black captaincy.
Well, captain's knock for the Crusaders.
Well, look, he was really good on the weekend. He's been fantastic since he's come back. If you look at his form in 2023, he was a standout performer for the All Blacks. I just like the way he's come back. He's led this group. He's playing with a fire, a determination. You can't doubt he's a well-respected player. He's certainly dominating. I think he's a standout hooker. And we're seeing some of the things that made him at his very best. I just like what he's bringing right now in terms of that. And it would be something a little bit different and a guy that they know really, really well, who's overcome some challenges, but I think's really comfortable about who he is as an All Black and a Crusader. And I just, like I say, I don't think
he's your All Blacks captain.
Do you want to double up on the wine on the Highlanders
he's your
game?
All Blacks captain.
I just
Do you want to double up on the wine that you won from the Highlanders game? I'm saying you're wrong.
I might be wrong. I'm just saying.
Scott Barrett
and
Ardie
my
Savea.
conversation with Scott Barrett and Ardie Savea, I'm allowed to put that in there because I'm seeing things there, and we don't know who's going to play and do what. And I'm just looking at it going,
look, to be honest, I'd have no issues with it.
Yeah. No one would.
Playing well. He's a great leader. He took the Super Rugby off to freshen up and he's back. I'd have no issues with it, to be honest.
Well, guess what? We're going to find out who the All Blacks captain is live on the Breakdown Special. The Breakdown Special will be on Monday, the 24th of June, 5:30 p.m. Put it in your calendar because it is the All Blacks squad announcement. Scott Robertson and co.'s first All Blacks team. You've got to be excited by this, right? We'll be announcing it here live on Sky.
wow.
He'll be excited. I know Razor will be incredibly excited.